Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, June 27, 2025. With work now set to begin on the Port Antonio bypass, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the $81 million investment will transform the economic potential for Portland. Dr. Holness was speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony on Thursday for Phase 1 of the project.
This bypass is a strategic initiative with national importance. The new 18-kilometer corridor, divided into two phases, will divert through traffic from the fragile, congested coastal town center, cutting travel time, reducing transport costs, and unlocking vast development potential inland. In so doing, it will unlock new commercial zones, stimulate land development, and create room for expansion.
Phase 1 will include a 7-kilometer 4-lane roadway, new bridges, upgraded drainage systems, and designated bus shelters. In addition, Dr. Holness says $521 million has also been allocated for the acquisition of over 200 parcels of land to facilitate the project.
The National Land Agency has already begun the acquisition process, ensuring that every affected landowner is treated with fairness and dignity under the provisions of the Land Acquisition Act.
China Harbor Engineering Company CHEC will carry out the project under the supervision of the National Works Agency and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. It is a continuation of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, SHIP. 17 roads have now been completed on the government's $45 billion Spark program, with another 20 near completion. Minister with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, made the disclosure earlier this week at the site of one of the first completed roads, Suzanne Avenue in southeast St. Catherine, which only has cleanup activities to conclude. The 0.7-kilometer stretch of road was rehabilitated by China Harbor Engineering Company CHEC at a cost of $35 million. Minister Morgan, who was accompanying Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness on a tour of Spark roads in Port Moore, assured that this and other roads were being built to high standards.
We have consultants who are independent of the contractors, who are observing the construction of the road at every stage. The soil has been tested, the asphalt has been tested, the concrete has been tested. So this is a high quality road that will last the residents an average of 7 to 10 years before we have to repair it again.
This, he stressed, was further reinforced by the 1-year defects liability period that was built into all Spark Road contracts.
If anything should happen to this road, that could be considered to be caused by the actions or omissions of the contractor, then the contractor is obligated to fix this road at no cost to the government.
They also toured Rensford Close in the Cedar Grove community in Port Moore, an investment of about $10 to $15 million. There, Prime Minister Holness assured that government's commitment to rehabilitating the country's non-highway road stock would not end with this first installment of Spark.
So when we complete this phase of the Spark program, which would do essentially about 680 roads right across Jamaica, we will go into a second phase and another phase after that, because we are committed to putting the budgetary support behind road rehabilitation right across Jamaica.
Approximately 100 roads are at varying stages of rehabilitation under the Spark program. The Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce has awarded $3 million in grants to micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, to support business expansion, digital adoption and export capacity. The grants were presented during the recent Westmoreland Business Roadshow held at the Manning School. 5 small business winners of the micro and small business pitch competitions received $400,000 each, while 5 micro business winners were awarded $200,000 each. Portfolio Minister Senator Aubin Hill called on the entrepreneurs to take on the challenge of increasing production for export.
Talk to people who can help you. Talk to the 20 agencies I bring here. Jamaica Business Development Corporation will help you to make a business plan. The Trade Board will make sure you know how to export, and go to their website.
The MSME Business Roadshows are staged in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank IDB, with support from public and private sector sponsors. The next stop will be in Manchester in July. Minimum wage contributors to the National Housing Trust NHT can now access up to 98% financing for land or units valued at $14 million or less. These are contributors who are earning $18,000 to $30,000 weekly and benefiting from a 0% interest rate from the trust. This becomes effective July 1, 2025. Administrative Manager for the Customer Relations Management Division at the NHT, Shara Luke Cooper, says the benefit reduces the amount of money persons would have to find upfront.
Previously, for these persons, once you're coming into the trust, you are required to have equity in the process. So in the purchasing of the unit, you are required, or the lot, you are required to have equity. That equity was for those persons and still is for those who are outside of the income band 5%. But for our 0%ers, we're saying come July 1, all you need to have is 2% equity in the property that you're going to purchase. The NHT will give you up to 98% financing.
Meanwhile, the NHT is extending its cashback contributions refund to private sector workers and self-employed contributors. This too takes effect July 1. Prior to this, cashback refund was only given to public sector workers, and refunds for private sector workers would have been applied to the mortgage of these contributors. Administrative Manager for the NHT's Customer Relations Management Division, Shara Luke Cooper, gave the update at a recent JIS think tank.
So you go on to our website, you look for contribution refunds, you submit your application once your account is current, not in arrears, and then you will be able to access your refund as a cashback.
A commitment has been given for the undertaking of major upgrades to the Araka Primary School in St. Mary. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness delivered the good news to the acting principal and other staff members during a recent visit to the institution. Araka Primary suffered a devastating setback in February of this year when fire destroyed 3 wooden classrooms. Dr. Holness says the upgrading works will take place under the Primary and Secondary School Infrastructure Program.
This was approved by the Public Sector Investment Management Committee, and this is going to be done in the current financial year.
The scope of work will include demolition of the wooden buildings to make way for the construction of 20 classrooms, principal's office, staff room, and auditorium. There will also be the installation of a solar system, overhauling of the sewerage system, and fencing of the institution. And finally, the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining is set to expand the Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program, REAP, with the aim of reaching at least 1,000 participants over the next 3 years. This would mark a significant increase from the 360 youth who participated in the initiative during the previous cycle. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green made the disclosure while addressing a graduation ceremony for 157 trainees under the REAP Builder program, held recently at the Jamaica Conference Center. The graduates were trained and certified by the Heart NSTA Trust.
When you say, how do we get more young people involved? REAP Starter and REAP Builder. We have a model that we can scale up to get more young people involved. The good news is that we are seeing more young people get involved. We are seeing more young people choose agriculture, and that is what we want.
REAP is an entrepreneurial training initiative spearheaded by the Jamaica 4-H clubs in collaboration with Heart NSTA Trust. The program is designed to equip youth with life skills, business development knowledge, and agricultural best practices, preparing them to thrive in the sector and contribute to national food security. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.